Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw the elf on the shelf. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the head. An easy way to draw a circle is to first make a couple of small marks to indicate the circle's height, and then on the sides make a couple more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then just connect the small marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. You don't have to draw a perfect circle, but if you're having trouble drawing one, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video as you follow along to draw at your own pace. Inside the circle, draw a curved horizontal line for a construction guide. Draw the line near the center of the circle. At the top, draw a short vertical line for another construction guide. Below the head, draw two short lines for the sides of the neck. Close off the shape of the neck at the bottom using a curved horizontal line. Under the neck, draw a long rectangular shape as a guide for the body. Draw two short sloping lines on the sides of the neck for the top of the body. On the sides, draw two long vertical lines for the sides of the body. Make these lines almost twice the length of the circle. Close off the shape at the bottom using a horizontal line. Under the body, draw a long thin shape for the bottom half of the first leg. Make the shape round and wide at the top and narrow at the bottom. This shape should be almost the same length as the body. Close off the shape at the bottom using a short horizontal line. Draw a short angled line on the right side for the first part of the foot. Draw a sloping line on the left side for the top of the foot. Under the body, on the left side, draw a long curved line as a guide for the other leg. Make the top of this shape curved for the knee. On the bottom right side, draw a couple of short angled lines as a guide for the other foot. Close off the shape at the bottom using a shorter angled line. To the right of the legs, make a small mark to indicate where the shelf will be. Extend the small mark sideways to create a long horizontal line. This line will be the guide for the shelf. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the line when you get the shape right. Draw a curved line on the right side of the legs for the bottom half of the body. Starting on the top left side of the body, draw a long sloping line as a guide for the arm. The bottom of this line should touch the shelf. Draw another long sloping line on the right side of the body as a guide for the other arm. On the bottom tips of the lines, draw small circles as guides for the hands. Draw the circles directly on top of the line for the shelf. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch two small arcs for the eyes. Place the eyes on top of the horizontal construction guide and on either side of the vertical guide. Pay attention to the space between the eyes. When you get the shapes of the eyes right, darken the lines. Close off the shapes of the eyes at the bottom using short curved lines. Draw these lines along the path of the guideline. Draw 3 small lines on the outer edges of the eyes for the eyelashes. Inside the eyes, draw small circles for the irises. Place the circles close to the left edges of the eyes. Draw smaller circles inside the irises for the pupils. Inside the pupils, draw tiny circles for highlights. Shade in the pupils, but don't overlap the tiny highlight circles. Above the eyes, draw short sloping lines for the eyebrows. Draw a short curved line below the section where the construction guides intersect for the nose. Below the nose, draw a curved horizontal line for the mouth. Draw shorter lines on the sides of the mouth for smile lines. Add a short line below the mouth for the lower lip. Above the eyes, draw a long curved line for the hair. Draw an angled section on the left side for a clump of hair. Now draw a couple of curved vertical lines on the sides for the bottom section of the hair. Make the bottom tips of these shapes pointy. Above the head, make a small mark for the first part of the hat. Make the mark longer to create a curved line above the head. Draw vertical lines on the sides to close off the shape. This will be the trim on the hat. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Curve the shape of the line along the path of the head. Above the head, draw a big triangular shape for the tip of the hat. Pay attention to the height of this shape in relation to the head. Curve the shape to the right. Darken the top edge of the initial circle to finish the trim on the hat. On the sides of the head, draw small curved shapes for the ears. Darken the bottom edge of the initial circle to finish the shape of the head. Draw a curved line below the neck for the top part of the collar. Draw this line close to the shape of the neck. Darken the initial guides to finish the shape of the neck. Draw long sloping lines on the sides of the neck for the main part of the collar. Make the lines longer than the width of the shoulders. Draw shorter lines on the sides to create pointy tips on the collar. Draw a series of small triangular shapes across the bottom for more pointy tips on the collar. These lines should be similar to the letter V. Darken the long sloping line on the left side for the first arm. Draw another sloping line to make the shape of the arm thicker. Use the circle at the bottom as a guide to draw the mitten on the hand. Draw a small curved line for the thumb. Darken the rest of the circle to finish the mitten. Draw the arm on the right side the same way. Darken the guide and add another sloping line to make the shape of the arm thicker. At the bottom, draw a short curved line for the thumb. Darken the rest of the circle to create the shape of the mitten. Darken the outer edges of the guides in the middle to create the shape of the body. The right edge of the body should be made up of a long continuous line. Darken the long thin shape at the bottom to create the leg. Make the lines more curved than the guides. Darken the shape to the left to create the other leg. Don't overlap the first leg as you draw this leg. Make the lines for the foot curved. Darken the long horizontal line to create the top edge of the shelf. Draw another long horizontal line to make the shelf thicker. Close off the shape on the sides using short lines. Under the shelf, draw curved lines for the metal brackets that hold up the shelf. Draw tiny circles inside the brackets. Try to make both brackets similar in shape and size. To the left of the elf, draw a couple of thin rectangular shapes for books. Don't make the rectangles too wide. Make the books different sizes. Draw a couple of smaller rectangles within the books for the designs on the spines. Make these shapes different sizes. On the right side, draw a big square for a present. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Draw a horizontal line at the top for a lid on the present. Draw vertical lines for the ribbon on the present. Draw a bow at the top using a couple of curved lines. Draw a circle for the knot on the bow and a couple of short curved lines for the sides of the bow. You can place different objects on your shelf if you'd like. And that's it for the elf on the shelf. Now go over the final lines with permanent ink, erase the guides, and color your drawing. The next few steps are sped up, but make sure that you go over your final lines slowly and carefully to avoid any accidents. For more tutorials like this one, please visit EasyDrawingTutorials.com. Let me know in the comments what else you want to see me draw. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.